Hey everybody, what's up? It is Heather Inman, your best Bells Bonds girl. Welcome to Jonesboro. So, I wanted to share one of my stories with you about why I never became a gang member and why I believe in advocacy work so much. So, I'm gonna share open and candidly one of my life stories with you to show how I am just like these girls and why I believe in doing the advocacy work that I do for people. And not just girls, anybody who really needs help. But when I was younger, this was May 20th, 1997. My cousin and his best friend, Tommy, who had been his best friend for 17 years, they grew up on the same block and in the same street, and they grew up together. And we were probably about 16, 17 at this time when this happened. So, on May 20th, 1997, my friend Tommy Bell and my cousin Robbie Dobbs was walking along Powder Springs Road, and they weren't even in a gang. Tommy and Robbie were just like good old boys. Like, they didn't bother anybody really. They were just good old boys, metalheads, you know, wasn't in a gang, wasn't gang related, nothing. So, on that night, they were taking their BMX bikes because we were really into BMX sports at this time. The boys were. And they were riding their BMX bikes to my friend Tommy's house, dad's house, because Tommy was starting a new job the very next day. And he had just started working on getting his life together after dropping out of school and everything and deciding that he wanted to work and, find a career in construction or whatever. So he was starting a job the very next day. So he had to go spend the night at his dad's house so his dad could take him to work the very next day. And they were walking along Powder Springs Road. And the chain on my cousin Robbie Dobbs' bike had broken in half, which was very unusual because usually they kept the chains on there brand new because we had a BMX bike track that we would go to with the BMX bikes. So, it was really unusual that his chain had broken that night on the bike, but it was whatever it was. So Robbie couldn't continue the rest of the way because it was a long way. So they were less than halfway from Tommy's mom's house. So Robbie said that he was going to turn around and go back to the mom's house with the bike, and then he would meet up with Tommy in the morning at his dad's house. He would have the mom take him over there in the morning because she had already, been asleep and or like whatever. So he was gonna wait for Tommy to get off work also that night or that day. So Tommy proceeded by himself to go to his dad's house. Well, on his way to his dad's house in the dark. It was probably about like 8 or 9 at night. This little red truck was coming down Powder Springs Road. It was like a little two-seater red truck. And when they passed by Tommy, they opened fire on him and shot him. Tommy had to drag his body, all shot up, to the first house that he could come to and knocked on the door with his foot and begged them to come to call 911 that he had been shot. My friend died on those people's front porch that night before the ambulance even got there. They caught Michael Griffin, who was the guy in the red truck, and the other assailant about 10 miles down the road after they had shot Tommy up. And when they brought the boys in for interrogation, they found out that it was a gang initiation. And he had been shot and killed for a gang initiation. Michael Griffith was sentenced to life in jail with absolutely no possibility of parole for what he did that night, for that gang initiation. In order to join, he had to kill someone. And he did. And it was my friend. And where I live, there's gangs everywhere. So I would take my children, when they got old enough, to my friend Tommy's grave. And I would show my kids the reality of what happens when you choose that life. It is very, very dangerous. The only place gang life will ever take you is either in the grave or incarceration and in prison for the rest of your life. There are only two ways to that life. You either go in a grave or you go in a prison. And me and my personality, I'm a very alpha dominant female, and I value my independence. And I don't like being told what to do. So joining a gang would be like the last thing I could ever do, because I could never take court orders or orders from anyone, because I'm just too dominant of an alpha female for that, which is probably the reason why I chose to be with the police force and to do bail bonding than join a gang, because I like to protect the innocent, and I like to protect people who are in just really bad situations and stand up for the underdog and balance the scales of justice, as you can call it. That is what helps my soul after losing so many friends to the street life and to the life that they chose to live. Helping rehabilitate as many people as I can, or save as many lives as I can, kind of soothes my soul, because I couldn't be there to save my friend that night from that traumatic event. And I wish I could. And I still think about Tommy every day. He's always with me. Always. He's with me wherever I go. I carry him in my soul and in my heart. And I've never forgotten about him. And I've never forgotten about him. I still cry. I still cry for my friend, because he was my friend. And he didn't deserve that. So, because I seen up close and personal how dangerous that lifestyle could be, is what saved me from going down a really bad road that I could have went down just as easily as anyone else. But I chose not to. I chose to honor my friend and to live and to create a legacy that would honor him in his passing, and that it wouldn't be for nothing. And I chose to honor that legacy with helping as many people as I can from having the same fate as him. You know, I can't save everyone. I'm not going to save everyone. But to save the people that I can save from that same fateful night would honor his death, and it would honor his legacy. And so I choose to do that instead of choosing to go down the wrong path. I choose to honor my friend in his death and his passing with helping save as many people from that same fate. And that's why I do what I do. And a whole bunch of other reasons. I could sit here and tell you every teardrop I've ever had, but I'm not going to. But I am just like you. And this is my story, and this is what happened to me. And this is why I chose to live a different life than you. And this is how I choose to honor my friend and his legacy. RIP. Love, Tommy. May 20th, 1997. Still love my friend.